I'm thinking of starting a riding club.
Why? All those clubs do is sit around talking about motorcycles.
That's what we do.
You don't belong nowhere else, so they belong together. But you're the man in charge.
I'm Johnny. We're the Vandals.
I'm Ben. I like you guys.
Boyfriends are getting into trouble.
All right, so the Bikeriders is a time and blurs the line between what's real and what's not real. For this, there's a chance encounter by a guy that I want to just call him his heartthrob, but you'll know him as Benny, and he's someone. Oh, that's it. Oh, yeah. And so for this guy right here, the ladies were drooling in the theater. And this guy is basically a reincarnation, a mixture of, I don't know, James Dean and Brad Pitt. And you're just constantly trying to decide whether or not this guy is going to go one way or the other when it comes to this MC motorcycle club in the Midwest. So with that being said, we can't go with first impressions to Iris because she didn't see it. But I can ask Jay, what did you think about this one?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was super excited to see this film. I was confiding in somebody before the show started that I have a big admiration for bikers, and that I love watching things about bike clubs. And I was super interested to hear about the creation of this really, really, really old club that I actually, because Baltimore has a lot of bike clubs, there is a Vandal chapter here, and I do see those jackets around, and I was super interested to see, like, okay, well, how did this get started and how did it spread or whatever? So yeah, I genuinely was excited to see this. And I'm not a big, I like Tom Hardy, so I was kind of interested to see like what a new performance from him would be, and all this and that and a third. So
okay, all right, so for me, my first impressions, I would agree, and I think Lingo would say the same thing. I was actually looking forward to this. I mean, with the cast that you have, that you're seeing, I like anything that has a true story, and I wanted to go ahead and jump into this story and just fully be like, hey, could it be Sons of Anarchy? I don't know, but I was looking forward towards it. So with that being said, I'm gonna go and start it off with the highs and lows. As always, I'm going to go ahead and start with the lows first. For this one, it's the pacing. This movie had moments where, I'm not going to lie to you, this is real reviews, I fell asleep. I damn near fell asleep. Within the first part of the movie, I'm falling asleep, and I want to know more about this, but they kept drawing out stuff where they didn't have to draw anything out. The photos, there's a key part of this movie where a photographer is taking pictures, and we're not going to do any spoilers here, so don't worry. But they're taking pictures, and when they take these pictures, you're not seeing it, but they're using these pictures because they're based off of the true story picture that you'll find out later on towards the movie. If they would have done that in a more impactful way, it would have hit better. But by the time you get to the end, you really don't see the mix on a lot of those pictures, so you kind of lose that. The thing else I would take away from it is you had to fill in details. This is a movie that is going to have you walk away and try to fill in the blanks with the people you saw the movie with. And that just means that they didn't do a good job of telling that story or conveying that emotion for you to fully understand what was going on. Not the same as the Movie Pass documentary that we did a review on. Go ahead and check that out. You just didn't get all that information. And then my final part for the lows of the movie is with all that being said, it was almost great. I mean, it had the great look, it had the music. I thought, going into the good stuff, I thought the cast and the acting was great. The trailer will let you believe that Benny is the star of this movie, and I'm not trying to spoil anything, but the real star is the young lady, which I don't know her name, and I believe she comes from Europe. She does a phenomenal job acting in this movie and carrying the weight of Tom Hardy and Benny's character throughout this movie, and I thought that was impressive. The other thing, I thought it had a good story. Like, the story was there, and the pace was just what was default, like, messing this up. So to me, I would say that would be my good and my bad. What about you, Jay?
Wow. After listening to what you were saying, like, one of the things that my personal opinion was, I felt like the bike club itself was the main character, and the young lady was the orator. She's telling the story. You know what I mean? So you're seeing the development of this gang through her eyes. You're really kind of getting a lot. You're kind of forced to kind of get a lot of your opinions based out of how she's, how her emotional connection to it is. I think they did a great job of trying to balance out not making somebody more important than the next. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there's the guy, he started the club and he's the leader, but I feel like he's that classic all-American, normal, round the way guy. The guy from the neighborhood. They do this in all the gangster films. They do this, and there's always the one guy that starts the organization that is completely selfless. I'm just here for the guys. I'm only maintaining leadership so that everybody is treated fairly and that the rules are followed. That's the only reason why I'm here. Other than that, do what you want to do. If you need me, give me a call. And he loves everyone equally, understanding everybody's unique differences and what makes them tick, but also understanding how we're all a bunch of misfits and we all need each other for different reasons. I thought that classic motif was a beautiful coat to build, a great outfit off of. What I do agree with is that there are times, even though I wasn't bothered by it, I felt the time in the film after the first 45 minutes. I started to feel all right, why are we dragging the scene out? Like, okay, this wasn't necessarily necessary. Like some setups for later on that they didn't really execute properly. I'm like, okay, you dropped the ball here, you dropped the ball there, but it's not so much to where it took me out of the film. I think I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like the costumes and the settings and the old cars, like, man, they did a really great job sucking me into this time period and reminding me how much I don't have a place in it because I'm black as hell. But I do enjoy sitting back and being in this world going, because I thought this to myself a few times and it made me smile. I was like, remember what life was like before there were cell phones? Remember what it was just like to go and you hanging with your friends, you know what I mean? Like you call your favorite girl or the girl that you feeling and y'all and I know your young kids ain't gonna understand nothing about this, but you just be together. Just be together. You're not going somewhere. There's not a big event to go to. There's not the always trying to make something. You were just together. Watching TV or sitting on a front porch drinking iced tea, or you get with your friends and you just sit around and talk. That's it. That's all you're doing. You're not talking about shit. You just talk. Getting back down to it, the story that I thought that I was going to see, I was very humbled that they really showed the real side of what made it great, but also what I can't say what destroyed it, because this bike club is still around in 2024, but how the purity of the club lost its way. And it wasn't because it's like you see the main character and you see he eludes or tells the audience and the person that he's talking to what he feels like the savior of his club is going to be. But it's a great argument to be had that the thing that makes this film great is everybody can have a different opinion about what could have saved the club, what could have been done differently, how is this and how we got to the place that we're in. And just like how creating something so pure can just go so bad and so dark, if it's not properly monitored, if it's not properly managed, if there's no goal for the future, if you don't have a vision for the future, somebody's going to come in with their own vision and they can take that motherfucker and run with it. But that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time. And yeah, I'm ready to rate this thing.
Let's go ahead. Let's rate it. How do we do it here?
All right. Every time we do it to do it the right way, which means you either going to say it's a classic, a good watch, a catch on streaming and not doing it for me, or it could be a, oh, hell no. Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will you. And my question is, kind sir, oh, great benevolent leader, what is your review for today?
Damn, I was gonna put that on you. I'm stuck in the middle between a good watch and catch it on streaming, and I'll say this: I'm gonna do a catch it on streaming. And the reason why I'm gonna say catch it on streaming is the fact with the pacing, and there's so much that we can watch, whether in the theater or not. It's just it wasn't enough for me to put it in that realm. Like Jay said, the story that you see is similar to the Bloods and the Crips. It's similar to other movies like Freaknik. Not necessarily movies, but just captured in time where what you created has changed as the generations progress. And the same thing you could talk about rap and hip hop. It's not necessarily all a bad thing, but in this case, you know, if you're a biker doing felony acts, it may be. But it just they didn't. I'd be so interested to see if it was directed in the same light as Sons of Anarchy. But yeah, that's my review.
Oh, hell, have you seen Sons of Anarchy at all?
Oh, I love it.
I was going to use this as a reference point. Sons of Anarchy did this better. And obviously they had way more time to tell the story. I'm going to say, and my review is pretty much, it's not doing it for me. And it's not doing it for me because I've seen biker films done better. I've seen Biker Boys do it better. I've seen Sons of Anarchy do it better. I've seen I've seen a few movies about bike clubs tell a story, a compelling story, tell a great origin story, encapsulate the purpose of it, make you be endeared with the original people, and then see the change happen, and that be told greatly. Now, mind you, I don't dislike the film, but the things that were amazing weren't enough. It wasn't enough to make me want to keep watching it again. Like, yeah, if one of the homies was like, yo, I really want to watch it, I would begrudgingly do it. But like, if it came on streaming, it would have to totally depend on the part of the movie that it was on. If you wanted me to stop and watch it, 90%, I'm probably going to turn it off. This could have been done better. This really got caught up in its own nostalgia. Yo, these actors got so caught up in the main characters that they forgot the story. They forgot to tell us something that's going to make us remember this.
Real Reviews. New episodes every Thursday at 8 at vvclife.com.